Time for a Sunday morning field trip to the zoo. Conor Knighton is our guide.
Walking around the deserted San Diego Zoo and Safari Park, I felt like I was the one on display.
Hello. Where'd all the people go, right?
From the giraffes to the gorillas, the animals were paying me quite a bit of extra attention. After all, they hadn't seen human tourists since mid-March.
This is a typically high season for us, with lots of guests coming through. Really, it's incredible to see it without guests right now.
Paul Barabal is the CEO of San Diego Zoo Global.
Oh, look at the baby.
The nonprofit that manages San Diego's 1,800-acre safari park and 100-acre zoo, the most visited zoo in the entire country. Both locations closed to the public on March 16th.
You've been open for more than a century. Has there ever been a closure of this magnitude before?
There's never been a closure of this magnitude before. The most that the San Diego Zoo has ever been closed is a single day, and that's only happened 5 days in the organization's history.
In the midst of historic COVID-related closures happening across the country, zoos face a special set of challenges. Shut a bookstore down, and the books inside are fine. But when a zoo closes, what happens to all of the animals?
Nothing is being skipped, nothing is being changed. Their day is going to be the same.
Bree Barney is a wildlife care specialist in charge of San Diego's kangaroos. While the zoo has furloughed ticket takers and concession stand workers, employees involved with animal care have been deemed essential. Barney's work continues as usual, with a few small modifications. She now wears a mask when hanging out with the marsupials.
They look at you a little bit differently. Sometimes you'll kind of get the kangaroo or the wallaby to kind of cock their head a little, like, who are you and what are you doing?
They don't recognize you with the mask?
Yeah.
Once news broke that lions and tigers at the Bronx Zoo had caught COVID-19 from a staff member, procedures changed at zoos across the country.
Tequila!
Now, mealtime means mask time. But, of course, all of that food is expensive. And with everything from the Zoo-Teak to the Roar store currently closed, zoos are hemorrhaging money.
The minute the front gate closed, unfortunately, we stopped making money, and our expenses really didn't change. The animals still have to be cared for.
Matt Thompson is the chief zoological officer at the Memphis Zoo, a zoo with a much smaller budget and smaller financial safety net than San Diego.
March through June is when we make 60% of our revenue, so recovering from this, honestly, is going to be very, very difficult.
With the expense of ongoing animal care, Thompson is predicting a $10 million loss for the year. And yet, the zoo has still managed to sign up a few new members, even at a time when members can't visit.
This is Crookshanks, a ball python.
The Memphis Zoo has been churning out hours of educational content to keep fans engaged.
It's another beautiful day.
And also some less educational content. In their popular Zoo-Olympics videos, they've capitalized on the current lack of sports programming and have been awarding medals and everything from the tortoise 100-meter sprint,
Blazing start for Lil Dab, who was extremely quick in the East Africa time trials,
to the pelican fish catch.
Radar gets the gold with 5 fish.
Zoos have had to get creative with their programming. The Florida Aquarium has launched a series of C-SPAN videos with a behind-the-scenes look at operations. The Denver Zoo invited fans to vote on the name of their new baby rhino, for a small donation, of course. Juna ultimately won out.
Life at the zoo continues. We continue to have births.
Back in San Diego, spring births are in full swing. Newborn penguin chicks are learning to swim. An Andean bear cub is taking its first steps. For the animals, this is a year just like any other year. But since normal visitation still looks to be a long way off, San Diego's congressional representatives have written a letter to Speaker Pelosi asking to direct $1 billion of funding to the Institute of Museum and Library Services that would help keep zoos across the country afloat. In the meantime, empty parking lots have been serving a new purpose. From Pittsburgh to Knoxville to the Bronx, zoos have become COVID-19 testing locations for humans.